Hi everybody, my name is Ariana Christensen for those of you that don't know me. I am 28 years old, coming from Stockholm, Sweden, and today I am going to talk about probably one of the most important topics, which is breast implant illness. In today's video, I am going to share with all of you how my breast implants made me really sick. And I want to start by clarifying that the purpose of me creating and sharing this video is to spread awareness about how toxic breast implants can be. My intention is not to cause any fear or to dismiss anyone who are planning or having breast implants, because I truly loved mine as long as they served me, but to really shine a light upon what we women do to our bodies to enhance our beauty, which can lead to chronic illness. So, already as a young girl, I noticed that I didn't develop breasts like my classmates, neither my little sister, and this is something that was really hard on me. So, as a young girl, I developed one of my deep-rooted core beliefs, which was I am not good enough. Going up in my teens, I did everything to cover my insecurities, from double padded push-up bras to rice bags to socks, you name it. I tried it all, and it was to cover my insecurities because I was really ashamed about how I looked. In my teens, people started to notice after some time that my breasts were really hard, and I never wanted anyone to touch them. I never wanted to show my breasts, and people started to talk about that I didn't have any breasts and that I was only padding them with everything I could find in my bras. And this is something that I was really ashamed about, and it was really, really hard for me. So it's an understatement to say that I was not loving myself at all. I was really ashamed and I was so insecure. So for me, it was a crystal clear decision to put breast implants in. I was always so fascinated and admired women who had big breasts, and I wanted to look like them as well. So at the age of 20, I decided to go under the knife to put breast implants in. I put 325 cc's under each breast, under the muscle, in the brand called Mentor in texturized implants. The surgery went well, and I was experiencing so much pain. And when I first got the chance to see my breasts the day after, I remember that I was crying out of happiness because to me, they were perfect. I was so satisfied with the result, and they made me feel really comfortable with my body, and I've been truly loving them. However, 2 years later, I got in the loop of needing more. You see, my core belief of not being good enough was still there. It just urged me that I needed to have even bigger breasts in order to be good enough. So I was just supposed to go into the surgery to put 100 cc more in each of my breasts when I asked my doctor if I still would have the same chance of developing rippling. Rippling means that when you're not having that much breast tissue by yourself and you're putting two big implants in, you will most likely see the implants through the skin. It almost looks like a wave. And my doctor said, well, you will still have the same risk of developing rippling, and somehow I was smart enough to cancel the surgery right when I was supposed to go in, which I am so grateful that I did. Under this period, I also considered to put ass implants in, and I am so grateful that I didn't do it because it would have been a complete disaster for me. Under this period in my young 20s, I was super identified with my looks, and my whole world was about becoming prettier, skinnier, to enhance my beauty, and I was completely identified with my looks. However, Down the road, a few years after, I started to develop small chest pains. It always been in my left breast where I've been experiencing pain, and I think I had it for maybe 4 different episodes, and they lasted from 1, 2, or 3 weeks. I went to the doctor, but they couldn't find anything, and it always went away, so I didn't thought that it was a major big deal. It was not up until last year, November 23rd, 2019, my whole world turned upside down. I was at that time just recently moved to Los Angeles, and I was studying psychology. And I was an A-class student in all of my classes, a high achiever, working out 5 days a week, and a rock star during the weekends. Looking back, I can clearly see how I had put myself in a vulnerable space to be receptive for a disaster. I didn't listen to my body, nor did I nurture it with the rest that I knew deeply within me that I was so desperately craving. So November 23rd, I was at my hairdresser's salon when it exploded in my whole chest from a clear blue sky. Of course, I completely panicked out and thought that I might have a heart attack at the age of 27. Somehow I managed to get home, and I woke up the next day with the same amount of chest pain. Under the period from late November 2019 until beginning of March 2020, I have searched for emergency help 3 times. I went to countless many doctors, doing blood tests, CT scans, heart exams, but they couldn't find anything wrong with me, but I was just getting more sick. I remember so clearly how stressed and afraid I was. First and foremost because I truly sensed that it was something wrong within my body, but also for being so far away from my family and home on the other side of the world, in a healthcare system which I didn't know how it worked. And as we know, in the States, it is really expensive, especially if you're a student. This really took a serious toll on my psychological overall well-being, and I started to develop panic attacks and anxiety. I was spending most of my time in my bed because I was in tremendous amount of chest pain. I decided to give up on my dream of creating a life in Los Angeles because I really needed to go back home to Sweden and figure out what was going on with my health. From March to June, I went to even more doctors, and the first doctor, she wanted to do a heart exam on me again, and luckily, thank God, she didn't find anything wrong with my heart. She asked me if I might have OCD and that I should go start talking to someone professionally. When she found increased levels of white blood cells in my blood, she said that it indicated for an infection. And I told her that I was not experiencing any kind of flu, I was not feeling sick, except that I was in this tremendous amount of chest pain, and asked her what it might possibly else could be. With no further interest, she said, "No, I don't know," and she didn't want to help me out anymore. Of course, I didn't give up. I went to more doctors, and finally, after some time, I got the chance to do an MRI, ultrasound, more tests, but the doctors couldn't find anything wrong with me. But I was only getting more sick. And I intuitively couldn't accept the fact that there was nothing wrong with me because it felt as if I was slowly dying. Under this period, I had called the ambulance 3 times during 3 months. And I just completely hit my rock bottom. And what happens when we hit our rock bottoms is that all of our defenses, guards, ego, resistance are being torn down. We come to full acceptance of the situation, and we are just falling. And we surrender to whatever is trying to unfold. And this is where the beauty starts to blossom, because we make peace with whatever is trying to teach us, even though it's really hard, and we let go of everything that we've been so desperately clinging on to, so that we can surrender to life to show us the way. And from this space, I was praying to find what was going on with my health. And I was being guided to do my own research. So in the beginning of June, I started to do my own research to dig deep of what it possibly could be wrong with my body. And there I found it. Breast implant illness. Thousands of women sharing their stories about how sick they became because of their breast implants. Felt as if many of them were about to die. When I watched women's videos on YouTube, it just said click within me. And when I realized that I needed to take my breast implants out, the first thought that came to my mind was, I am wanting to die. I am going to jump off a bridge. The second one was, how the hell will any man find me attractive with scars all over my chest and no breasts? I got shocked when I witnessed what I was telling myself. Because the last couple of years, I always been the one preaching about loving ourselves unconditionally and embracing our uniqueness. And now I was saying this to myself. What I realized was that it was an unhealed part of me, a shadow side, my inner child that was screaming for my love and attention. You see, in the last 10 years of my life, I've been building up and holding on so tightly to an appearance and identity because I didn't believe that I was good enough as a young girl. So what is breast implant illness? Breast implant illness is a collective name of different various symptoms that are causing the women because of their breast implants. Some of the symptoms might be joint and muscle pain, chronic fatigue, memory and concentration problems, breathing problems, rashes and skin problems, migraine and anxiety, chronic inflammation, headaches, hair loss, IBS, chest pains, autoimmune diseases. Wait, I thought that breast implants were safe and that there was only a small risk of a capsular contracture. Let's imagine this. You operate in a foreign object into your body which are not supposed to be there. Of course, your body will try to protect itself from it because it sees it as a threat. So it will build a capsular around it. Not only that, your body will now 24/7, not only when you put it in, trying to protect itself from it. This means that the implant will act as a stressor for your immune system. With other words, your body will now be under a chronic state of stress, and your immune system will sooner or later start to decrease. In this space, you are much more likely to be receptive for diseases, infections, viruses, diseases. And not only that, imagine if you would put an implant in the sauna or under the sun for a couple of years, of course sooner or later it will start to leak. This is called the gel bleed. The more I searched about the topic, I was shocked and asked myself, and still doing, is how the hell can this topic not be widely discussed all around the whole world? Because honestly, almost all of my girlfriends has breast implants. And breast augmentation is one of the most popular plastic surgeries all around the world. When I visited my doctor who made my breasts 2012, when I just got back home to Sweden from Los Angeles, I told him about my chest pain, and he was just touching my breasts a little bit, and he said, "No, Ariana, do you know what? If you cannot see anything on the outside, there is almost no risk that there will be any problem on the inside. However, if you would still experience the same amount of chest pain in 2 months, we can go in under the knife and see if there's anything wrong." When I emailed him 2 months later, telling him that I was still experiencing the same amount of chest pain, and asked him if it might be correlated to breast implant illness, he didn't respond. And honestly, there is a lot of doctors out there who don't believe in breast implant illness because there is not enough scientific evidence about it. The more I immersed myself in the research and dig deeper, I found out how the FDA had put a black box warning on texturized implants, and how research had linked a rare form of cancer called BIA-ALCL with texturized implants. It was clear there was no return back for me. This was so much bigger than just my own suffering. And once a mind is stretched, it cannot go back to its old dimensions. I couldn't deny of how toxic my breast implants were. So after a lot of resistance and time to digest, I went under the knife a month ago, the 15th of October 2020, to remove my breast implants. I was completely terrified, and I did successful en-bloc explant surgery. And it is crucial that you either do an en-bloc surgery or a total capsulotomy. I don't know if I pronounced that right, because not only does the implants need to come out, but also the capsular around it, because it is filled with a lot of toxins. Women who haven't removed their capsular are, some of them, still experiencing various different symptoms. The surgery went well, thank God. I am healing. It's going to take some time, but I am so fucking proud of myself for taking a leap of faith and did this for myself, because it's the best thing I ever done to my own health and my own well-being. And the doctors saw under the surgery that I had an inflammation in both of my breasts, especially in my left one, where I've been experiencing tremendous amount of chest pain. Before my surgery, the doctor said that she couldn't guarantee that the surgery would help me with my pain. However, since she saw an inflammation, it is now clear that I will heal sooner or later. This means, with other words, that I've been having a chronic inflammation in my breasts. And I am just so happy that I took them out. And the same day as I explanted, my sister and mother took care of me, and my mother were holding me in my hands. And she reacted because I was so warm. As long as I can remember, I've been really, really cold in both my hands and my feet. And people used to react when they took me in my hands or feet because I was so cold. For me, it was clear that my breast implants had blocked my entire blood circulation. And ever since that, I've been warm in both of my hands and my feet. So the symptoms that I had was chronic chest pain, which was caused by a chronic inflammation in both of my breasts that I guess will take some time to heal. I'm still experiencing pain, but this is a really great opportunity for me to practice patience and faith. I have, over the last couple of years, been having ongoing candida infections. And this is something that I thought was a different case, but I can now see how the candida infections that I had reoccurring was because of my decreased immune system because of my breast implants. And anxiety and panic and heart palpitations, which I guess is because of all the chest pain that I've been experiencing. Cold hands and feet, gone. IBS, gone. Shortness of breath. When I was trying to take a full breath when I had my implants, it always said stop at the top. Now after my explant, I can breathe in a continuous cycle. Brain fog, and this is something that I didn't even know that I had until I took my breast implants out, and I felt so clear in my head, which is amazing. And dark puffy circles under my eyes, which is something that I never had before either. The last year, I haven't recognized myself, neither my family or my close friends. I used to be the woman that was always jumping around with a smile on my face, high on life, loving adventures, fearless. But the last year, it has felt as if I was slowly dying. I've been sleeping a lot. I've been having a lot of panic attacks, depression and anxiety, in tremendous amount of pain, which was sucking the very life out of me. But the very thing that breaks us holds also the greatest gift for a rising. If we lean into the discomfort and trying to ask what it's trying to teach us, to see our suffering from the eyes of love and compassion, to make peace with whatever rises, to accept the situation and let go of everything that we are so tightly holding on to so that we can heal. And this is much easier said than done, but it is crucial that we are nurturing ourselves with unconditional love and acceptance when we are at the most vulnerable and fragile moments of our lives. My dear friend Emilia said something to me in Los Angeles, which is something that I've been carrying with me ever since then. She said, "Look, Ariana, your chest pain is the symptom, but what is the root cause?" An illness starts with an underlying factor which is out of balance. In Western world, most of the doctors will treat your symptoms but not go into depth with your root cause. It is crucial that we find a root cause in order to heal, because if not, it will only transform into another symptom. What I learned along this journey is that you are your own doctor. Nobody knows your body better than you. And our bodies are communicating with us the whole time. If we dare to lean into the discomfort and pain and listen. And don't you ever give up on finding your root cause, even though if no one else believes you. I remember it was so many times doctors and people around me said, "Oh, come on, Ariana, it's probably not a big deal. Your chest pain is probably caused because of your panic and anxiety." But I always knew that that was not the case. With my hands on my heart, I can say that this has been the most difficult time in my entire life. And I don't want anyone to go through what I've been going through. But in the midst of all the chaos and darkness, I have transformed into a more loving, understanding, open, and kind person. I used to be the one who said, "No, I will not get sick. This will not happen to me." But there is no one that asks to become sick. There is no one that wants their life to be taken away. And I have so much empathy for everyone out there who are suffering greatly behind closed doors. I want you to know that you're not alone. And I'm sending you all so much love and light. Don't give up. I've seen and talked to so many women becoming really, really sick because of their breast implants. And this is not a joke. This is really serious, in fact. And I know so many women who had their implants ruptured. And I heard women developing all kinds of symptoms and diseases that they are barely able to get out of the bed. And this is not an easy road. This is a really tough one, in fact. It has felt as if I've been losing a dear part of my own body. But somewhere in the darkness, we transform. We become wiser. Our perspective is being shifted. We are being awakened to the truth. And the core message in all of this is that we must be aware about what we put into our bodies. What comes in must go out. And we must honor the intelligence of our bodies and respect them, to not take our health or life for granted. When we are healthy, we believe that we are indestructible and we have all these wonderful ideas and visions of what we want to create in the future. However, when we are sick, we only have one, and that is to feel better. If I could have been going back to my younger self and tell her what she later would have gone through, I believe that I still would have put the breast implants in, because I was in a completely different consciousness. However, I wish that I could have told her that I am enough just the way I am, just like you are, and that my beauty and your beauty are not defined of how big breasts we have. Or self-worth does not come from our appearance. And that our breasts doesn't define us of how feminine or how attractive we are. And all of those people who are mean to you, especially guys, are not supposed to be in your life anyway. Because the right people and the right man will worship and love you for the woman you are. And it's about you loving yourself over and over again. It's about you accepting yourself over and over again. Imperfectly perfect, just the way you are. You are enough. And honestly, I don't love myself less for having small breasts again with big scars. In fact, they symbolize my story. And I see them so differently now. You see, it was never my breast implants that made me love myself. It was all of these last years that I've been so dedicated and so committed in loving, healing, and understanding myself that led me to this place I am today. Plastic surgeries and beauty enhancement will not make you become a better person, and it will definitely not heal your relationship with yourself. True beauty comes from within. It's who you are. It's the essence of who you are. True beauty is being comfortable in your own skin and accepting yourself as you are. And the more I embody this and realize this wide, big, profound statement by myself, I realize that I am so damn enough and beautiful just the way I am, just as you are. And don't get me wrong, I love to take care of myself and enhance my beauty, but I am not defined by it. And we must recognize when an underlying factor are driving us to become more in order to be enough. When we are hoping that our external world will bring us that fulfillment, healing, and love that we are lacking in giving to ourselves. In today's society, we are being bombarded with retouched pictures, perfect bodies, beautiful and fancy lifestyles, where everybody almost looks like a walking real-life Barbie. But there are very few that are talking about the side effects it has on us to strive for an unrealistic ideal that will not only fuck up the relationship with yourselves and others, but it will slowly start to poison our bodies and our souls. And I am heartbroken to see and think about all these young girls growing up when I was at the same age, so insecure, and believes that we have to undergo multiple surgeries and complete transformation in order to be good enough. This is wrong. This is not healthy, and this is not real. You will not become a happier or better person because you look in a certain way. And I can say this from my own personal experience. In my young 20s, I was so identified with my appearance, and I was basing my self-worth of how other people were perceiving me, and it didn't make me to a happier or a better person. In fact, I believe it made me to a more miserable person who was not in touch with myself at all. And what I want to say with all of this is that we have to wake up to the truth about the harm we are doing to ourselves, comparing ourselves with everybody else, and making stupid comments about how other people should look like in order to be good enough. Breast implant illness is really serious. And it is important that we shine a light upon this subject and talk about it, because it might happen to you or somebody close to you. And if not now, maybe in the future. And sooner or later, the truth will always reveal. If not now or tomorrow, maybe 10 years down the road. We don't know. And if I can help one woman by sharing my story, I have done my work. If somebody would have told me when I got sick for a year ago, hey Ariana, do you know what? It might be breast implant illness. It would have saved me so much time and suffering. And if you might be the one who are having breast implant illness, I am here for you. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you need any support or having any questions. I can also recommend you to seek for Facebook groups or Instagram accounts where there are thousands of women that are talking and sharing and supporting each other. And it is really beautiful, and it's something unique and special when women that are suffering from the same illness can understand and supporting each other. It creates a beautiful bond. And this is not an easy road. It's not. But it will all be worth it, because in the end, the most important is how we feel and not how we look. Thank you so very much for tuning in and listening to my story. Please share, please talk and talk about the subject. It is really, truly important. And I'm sending you all so much light and love. Thank you.